To tell you how exactly everything unfolded today, we now go to our correspondent, Jonathan Sacerdoti, who's live from London. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. Now, first of all, walk us through what exactly happened today and how the events unfolded.
Hi, Denise. Well, yes, it's been a very eventful day here in London. Just behind me, you can see everything is still cordoned off from that terror attack that took place earlier on. That was a driver who drove his vehicle into pedestrians standing on Westminster Bridge, which sits just next to the House of Commons and Big Ben. That killed people standing there, pedestrians on the street. One lady jumped into the River Thames in order to escape and was rescued alive. But then the attacker left the vehicle and launched an attack on the police protecting the Houses of Parliament, one of whom was stabbed and killed, a father of 48. And now, at that point, the police then shot at the attacker, killing him, which brought the death toll to 5. There are said to be 40 people injured as well from this attack, which was something that Britain had been braced for, but there's very little that they could do when this started to unfold.
Now, Jonathan, as you said, we know this happened outside the British Parliament, and members of Parliament were trapped inside during the attack. What kind of reactions did we hear from them both during and afterwards?
That's right, because when this did unfold, there was a lockdown on the Houses of Parliament with MPs and other people who worked in the House of Commons, and also any other people in the complex, such as visiting school children, locked in for quite some time. There was the ability to talk to them, of course, and many of them also were tweeting, trying to explain how afraid they were at first when they weren't entirely sure what was going on, but then also showing that tough British resolve that they wouldn't allow this to stop them, that Britain should carry on, and that we mustn't be cowed by terrorism. Of course, that seems to be the attitude that is overriding everything else, as well as all the shock and sadness at those deaths and injuries. There is the sense of British resolve that everything must carry on, and to that end, as morning approaches, Parliament will be opening as usual and business will be going on as usual in the running of the country. Prime Minister Theresa May was adamant about that, and she also said that the terrorists will fail when trying to challenge those British values.
And finally, Jonathan, today we also heard London Mayor Sadiq Khan saying that there will be an additional police presence tonight throughout the city to keep everyone safe. What can we expect for Londoners to see in the coming hours and days?
Yes, well, we've heard also from the Metropolitan Police themselves that there will be an increased police presence, both armed and unarmed, around the country, not because they know that there is a specific threat in relation to what happened, but just simply because they're on heightened alert. The country's already at the second highest possible alert level for terror attacks. That is severe. The only higher level is when there is a known attack which is imminent. That isn't the case at the moment, but those police will be making people feel safer and also will be on alert themselves for anything suspicious, anything that might be seen as a follow-up. Because we know from previous attacks in Europe that sometimes these things aren't isolated. Sometimes those who were acting as part of a network or relying on other people. Perhaps there are other plans for other attacks. That's something they want to be vigilant against. And while people have been preparing long and hard for the possibility of what happened in London today, there is absolutely no way to be sure that it won't happen again shortly, and they want to make sure that should that be the case, they are ready and set to defend the people of Great Britain.
Well, as you said, Jonathan, a very difficult day in London. Thank you again so much for those updates.